cars, I looked ahead, and it was what I guess to be 13 stories of smoking rubble. It was still smoking. But as we drove ahead, they had tents set up all around Ground Zero. And the firefighters, and the police, and the first responders, and all those people we care about, Jewish, Catholic, Muslim, Baptist, black, white, Asian, we're all working together for our common good. And with Ali, we went tent to tent. And we spent, I don't know, another 2 or 3 hours going around as Ali tried to lift the spirits of all those people there on the front lines working for us. Afterwards, 8, 9 o'clock at night, we drove back to White Plains, got on the Kellogg jet, flew to Benton Harbor, where we dropped off Ali, his wife Lonnie, and the 2 business associates. And I took a little 10-minute flight back to Battle Creek, got in my car, and drove back here to Kalamazoo. And I was sitting in my living room. It was surreal. And I said, where have I been? What have I seen? It is just surreal. But I will tell you one thing. I was very proud of the police, the firemen, the military, of my company, who claimed no credit, didn't try to publicize it, never announced it, just did it because it was right. But most importantly, I was awfully proud just to be an American. Thank you.
I ask you now to please stand for the last alarm ceremony by the City of Portage firefighters.
So once this is going on, and once it's over, we'll put the roots up, and that's when it's kind of like step over. These are going to put this one on.
Okay, it's fine.
Fire services today is ever changing.
Go right here. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
One such tradition is the sounding
Sorry.
of the bell. In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of the day's shift. Through the day and night, each alarm was sounded by a bell, which summoned those brave souls to fight fires and to place their lives in
Yeah, I'm like
jeopardy
zoomed
for
up
the
on
good
his
of their
butt.
fellow man. And when the
He's
fire
like
was
really
out, the alarm had come to an
close.
end. It was the bell that signaled to all the completion of the call. When a firefighter died, it was a toll of the bell that solemnly announced a comrade's passing. We utilize these traditions as symbols which reflect honor and respect to those who have given so much, who have served so well. To symbolize the devotion of these brave souls for their duty, a special signal of 3 rings 3 times represents the end of our comrades' duty, and that they will be returning to quarters. And so, to those who have selflessly served for the good of their fellow man, their task completed, their duties well done, to our comrades, their last alarm, they're going home.
A wreath commemorating 9/11 will be presented by Chief Terry Imig and son Jason Imig of the Cooper Township Fire Department. Jason drove from Kalamazoo to Ground Zero on September 11th, 2001 to assist fellow fighters and comrades in the aftermath of the events of that tragic day. A second wreath in memory of Chief Edward Switalski will be presented by Comstock Township firefighters as we now observe a moment of silence in memory of Chief Switalski, who was killed in the line of duty this past June 13th.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't planning on that one.
Please be seated.
I think I moved my spot.
I'd like to call to the stage again John McMullen, who will sing
I see
There
how that
She
saved you.
Stands.
I'm a veteran.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad of what you do, Very, very happy.
Seems to say all hope is lost, gone away. But I know I'm not alone. By the light she stands. There she waits, faithful friend, shimmering stars by the dawn. Early lights, and through the fight, she stands.
With closing remarks now, the Honorable Judge Alexander Lipsy.
I was asked to give closing remarks as you look at the program. This is far from the end. Actually, my comments, I believe, are appropriate in that respect. I want to tie this celebration, this remembrance, to others that we have had in the past. In the early 1980s, a 21-year-old Asian American art architecture student won a competition to build a memorial in Washington, D.C. Her name was Maya Lin. Her memorial was controversial in that it was not a traditional monument design, yet it has become one of the most visited monuments in our nation's capital. Of course, we're talking about the Vietnam War Memorial. I remember this work to you for two reasons. First, the artist wanted us to remember each and every individual who had made the ultimate sacrifice during that war. Secondly, by using the black polished stone for the memorial, each person viewing it would see back behind the names of those fallen heroes their own reflection, thus recognizing for whom those heroes died. No less do we do this for the first responders in 9/11. That reflects those brave souls who willingly sacrificed themselves to protect and defend our freedoms. We honor them today, but we honor more than those who fought and died in New York, Washington, D.C., and on that field in Pennsylvania. We honor Eric Zapata, Ed Swatowski, and all those locally who routinely put the welfare of others ahead of their own safety, sometimes with tragic results. I had the opportunity to visit Prague in the Czech Republic, and there I came across a Jewish cemetery that was several hundred years old. The headstones of this cemetery were stacked right up next to each other, and on just about every headstone, there are pebbles holding down handwritten notes to the deceased, a recognition that those departed will always be remembered. This 9/11 service is our way of keeping the memory of our brave souls alive. We must never forget them. However, it is more than that. It is a challenge to us. In the words of our greatest president, it is for us, the living, to rededicate ourselves to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion. That a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish. from this earth. Thank you.
It is our great privilege to now hear from the Kalamazoo Pipe Band, who will play Amazing Grace.
Good job, guys.
Grace Califoot is back to the stage with God Bless America.
Goodness.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from
Get stuck,
above.
huh?
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white would foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Don Jarzambek, United States Marine and Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard member.
We've been doing this for 14 years now, and we thought it was about time that we recognize some of the folks that have been standing up with us and for us for the last 14 years. So as I call your name, either an individual or a group, please somebody come up here and see Janine over by that table. First one's going to be interesting. Kalamazoo County Mounted Division.
How are they gonna get over there? That one's pretty hard. They're on horses.
Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety Honor Guard. Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard. City of Portage firefighters. Scott Thornburg, our bugler. Gloria Culp, Kalamazoo Pipe Band. John McMullen. Grace Califoot. Rabbi Spivak. Last but not least, the guy that makes all of this happen so you can hear what we're doing, Les Bax.
Congratulations.
There are many other folks that we owe thanks to and gratitude for helping us with this. Every year we have a wrap-up meeting, get together. Lawrence Wenke buys us coffee and breakfast, and we talk about it. We tried to decide whether we want to do this again next year. Answer's always been, yep. When's the first meeting for next year? So we'll do it again next year.
Could I ask you to once again please stand for the benediction by Monsignor Michael Osborne.
Let us pray. O God of love and compassion and healing, look upon us, people of many different faiths and traditions, who gathered today to recall the scene of incredible violence and pain. God of understanding, overwhelmed by the magnitude of this tragedy, we seek your light and guidance as we confront such terrible events. Grant that those whose lives were spared may live so that the lives lost may not have been lost in vain. Comfort and console us, strengthen us in hope, and give us the wisdom and courage to work tirelessly for a world where true peace and love reign among the nations and in the hearts of all. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Retire the colors.
Those folks will sure be happy.
Thank you all for coming. It's very moving to see how many people still remember. My name is Lori Moore. I host the Lori Moore Show weekdays at 4 on your CW7. It is your community show where we talk about events such as this. I hope you'll tune in. Each of you received a yellow ribbon with your program. These ribbons depict the men and women from each of the firehouses, police posts, governmental agencies, and the EMS agencies who lost their lives on that tragic day. I hope you'll take time to tie your ribbon onto our Twin Tower representation as a symbol that we here in Kalamazoo will never forget. Thank you so much for coming. This concludes our program today.